Are you tired of being around people who just don't get you? Have you been putting yourself out there but not able to find anybody that matches your vibe? You're not alone. Making friends, especially as an adult, is hard. My name's Coach Lee. I'm a social connections coach, and I want to help you find your tribe. I have a 3-step coaching program for groups and individuals that's designed to help you get to the right place, to meet the right people, to have the right kind of conversations that leave you feeling fulfilled, appreciated, and understood. After going through the Find Your Tribe coaching program, you'll discover who it is that you really want to be connected to, how to find those people, and what you need to talk about so that your relationship moves from an acquaintanceship to a close friendship. And with this program, you won't be on this journey alone. You'll have access to a private community in which there are others who are just as intentional about making the kind of connections you are. You'll also have access to live events like weekly Q&As, speed friending, and much more. You'll be able to practice your skills in a safe environment and feel confident to connect authentically when you get out into the real world. If you're ready to get started on making meaningful connections and lasting relationships, then apply to the coaching program by using the link in the show notes. Hey, what's going on? My name's Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about what it means to make a great relationship. I hope that by the end of this episode, if you discover that you don't have these 3 fundamentals in your relationship, that you are able to cultivate them and create the healthy, sustainable relationship that you deserve. So, with that said, are you ready? Let's go. Well, what I want to share with you today are my top 3 relationship fundamentals. These apply to any and all relationships. I know right here we focus on platonic relationships, and I certainly believe that you cannot be a romantic partner, or you're going to make a lousy romantic partner if you're not a friend first. So yeah, all relationships and connections, these 3 fundamentals is going to help you, engage in healthy discourse, and also it's going to help you with the longevity and maybe the transformation of your relationship. It's going to help you when one partner changes or one person changes in a relationship. It's going to help you navigate those spaces, because it does get difficult if you don't have the right tools for that. And all of this stuff comes from my own personal experience. Of course, when I reflect back on what I could have done, what I wanted in those relationships, and what I didn't know how to say or didn't know how to share, I reflect back and I know that, of course, they could have done better, but I also could have done better, right? It's the same. It's a reflection. So I believe also, real quick, the whole purpose of reflecting back is so that we don't make the mistakes again, right? We take some time to know more about what's important and interesting to us, or what we needed to know from the situation, so that we can apply it in future settings and also pass that knowledge on to others. So I hope that you'll take this knowledge with you and you apply it to your relationships. So what I would say for the most important, so I've got 3 of them here. The most important is to know what you want from each other. This is something that, I almost prefaced or referenced here just a minute ago. It's that I had no idea what it was that I wanted, what I needed from any of people in my relationships. I just thought that if they smiled or if they were happy that I was around, I had to figure out how to make that happen. And the best way that I could figure out how to make that happen was to do something for them, was to give up my energy, my time to what endeavor or what their desire was, So not knowing what I wanted from them, many times it showed up as, I didn't have a sense of self. I only knew that I wanted them to be happy with me, but I couldn't look any further into that and learn how they wanted me to be happy with them. And even with that, I wasn't even thinking about myself. I didn't know what it was that I really needed, because that their smile wasn't it. Many times they might have been satisfied with me, but I would just ruin it and say, is there anything else I can do? Are you sure? Is it okay? And being all insecure and damaging the relationship that way. So you both have to know what it is that you want from each other. What do you want from your friend? How do you want them to behave in certain situations? And those certain situations are up to you. Those things that are really important and special to you. Like, I love to connect on joy, and I talk about connecting in joy. Talking about the things that are fun, exciting, happy, enjoyable for you. How do you want them to respond to you when you ask them to do something that's joyful to you, or share something that's joyful to you? How do you want them to respond? And also in the other emotions, how do you want them to respond to you when you're sad? Do you want them to give you some tough love right away? Do you want them to listen to you? Do you know what it is that you want from them? You have to really be able to know it. You have to know that. For me, I bottled up my feelings, and I expect my friends to guess exactly what I wanted. And, it was rough for them. It was rough for them. This is when I was disappointed or when I was frustrated, I blamed them because they had shortcomings. They didn't know what it was that I needed, and I didn't know what it was that I needed. So rather than recognizing that I didn't make it easy for them, I just blamed them. That happens a lot in our relationships, and that pushes people away. So what you want to do is be clearly able to know what it is that you want from each other, so that you can know whether or not your needs are getting met. All right. So that's what I discovered. The next one that I discovered was be willing to express clearly what you want. Number 2 is you have to be willing to say it. So now you figure out what it is that you want. You have to be able to say that to other people. You have to be able to say that to your friends. You have to be able to say it to your coworkers and your family members. I know that there's a fear of rejection, and it's painful and it hurts and it's scary and you don't want to do it. But also, do you want what you want? Maybe there's something that you want more than not being rejected. Maybe you want to go explore. I encourage you to explore a little bit and see what the relationship can handle if you say what it is that you want. Because many times I just felt resentful and wished people would recognize that I needed help instead of asking them. And instead of saying, hey, help me, to have them actually find out that they actually really did want to help me. Do you believe that your friends care about you? Do you believe that they want what's best for you? Do you believe that they're willing to lift a finger to help you? If you do, then you would ask them. If you don't, then you won't. What sense is having friendships and people around you if they're not caring for you? It doesn't mean anything. You have to be willing to express what you want. Otherwise, you'll be resentful. You'll be angry and frustrated at them. And by the way, they're going to feel the same way. You ever watch one of those movies where there's some kind of big reveal, a friendship movie? They've been hiding something for the entirety of the movie. They were like, he cheated on me and I just didn't want to tell you because I was so ashamed. And the friend's like, why didn't you tell me? I just told you I was so ashamed. But seriously, you're hiding. You're really hiding from them. And if you needed support from them, they wasn't able to give it to you because they didn't know that you needed it. And you would suffer alone. This is my experience too. I was too afraid to be rejected that I wasn't able to clearly express what it was that I wanted from others. Be willing to clearly express what you want. And the third one is that you have to be willing to talk about next steps if you don't get what you want from each other. So what happens if you don't get what you want? What happens if you figure out what it is that you do want? You clearly express it to them, and they're not willing or capable or whatever of meeting that need. They're like, nope, I can't do it. I don't want to, what are you going to do? You're going to throw the whole relationship in the dumpster fire? You're going to be angry at them? You're going to yell at them? Well, here's something for you. You have to recognize that your relationships aren't going to meet and fulfill all of your needs all the time. Your friends and your connections are not responsible for your feelings. They're not. Sometimes they won't be able to do the things that you ask, and you must compromise. You must compromise. So you want to be willing to understand what the next steps would be if you're not able to get your needs met. What are you going to do? How are you going to continue the conversation? How are you going to talk to them? How are you going to handle them? Are you going to treat them differently and scowl at them for the rest of your relationship? You're going to ruin that. I think that it's really important for you to take some time with yourself. If you're not getting your needs met by a person, you can't. Go perhaps have another source that you can talk to or other people that you can connect with, because one person just can't be everything to you. You just have to recognize that and be willing to talk about next steps. Okay, so you can't do this for me, and I accept that. It's not tit for tat either. So you can't do this for me, well, I won't do that for you. It's not tit for tat. It's just understanding that they're human and they have their own feelings and their own priorities that don't involve you, and being able to understand that. Being able to not hold a grudge. So for that, I just want to recap, because these three are very important. If you're not seeing them in your relationships, if you're not doing them in your relationships, it's going to be hard to maintain something going forward, because you don't have the communication skills or the wherewithal to actually have a difficult conversation, because usually these things revolve around difficult conversations. You have to know what you want from each other. It's kind of scary to put that out there. You have to be willing to clearly express what you want. It's kind of scary to put that out there too. And if you don't get your needs met, you have to be willing to talk about next steps to get what you want from each other, which what I hope would be open communication, understanding, compassion for each other. I hope that comes in if you don't get your needs met. If it happens all the time, of course, that's a different story. But this is something to keep in mind. What I'd like to do now is do a little thought exercise, or ask you some questions to put yourself in a situation and think about these, okay? Think about these three questions. What do you want to do together? You and your friend. What are you hoping that you could do together? Are you willing to ask them to do it? What will you do if you discover that they're not capable or unwilling to do it? Think about these three things. Consider them. By answering these questions, you'll create an action plan to get what you want and connect on a deeper level with others. I'll be right back with the Answer Reddit question. Hey, this is Coach Lee Hopkins here. I just want to let you know that you're awesome and your feelings matter. I know the holidays are fast approaching, and if you're going home to a family to be surrounded by people who don't believe that your feelings matter, and you constantly get caught up in the fighting and the frustrations, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, the obligations that you have with family, I want to empower you to break those generational patterns of disdain and distrust. I will be releasing content from my masterclass, Friends with Family. This content from Friends with Family is going to help you develop skills to be more grounded in yourself so that you can actually connect with your family. You're going to learn to create more connecting and curious conversations. You'll also learn how to navigate high drama topics without getting drawn into a conflict. Now, this course is not going to fix deep-seated problems that you might have with your family members, and it won't heal any traumas that you've experienced. It's going to help you communicate more authentically, to empower you to have regular conversations and actually connect with your family. It's my sincere hope that more of us out there who are breaking those generational patterns to not just stop the pain from moving forward, but to really become friends with our family. If you want to be a part of this, check the link in the show notes. All right, now it's time for the Reddit friendship advice question. If you have a friendship advice question that you think I should answer, tag me in it on Reddit. My handle is Brilliant and Resilient. That's Brilliant The letter N, resilient. Not sure if I'm doing the right thing. I've had this friend I've known for some time now, and we've been on good terms. Everything was going good until about 2 months ago. It was around her birthday when we got to the cafe, and she seemed a bit off. She suddenly started criticizing me about how I'm living my life and how I'm spending too much time at home with my parents. At that time, I was just telling her how I'm trying my best at the moment, trying to get employed, and I'm going to not worry about things I don't have control over. The rest of the day left a bitter taste in my mouth, and I didn't want to be around her for some time. Today is my birthday, and she messaged me about being nice to me, and I asked her to meet next week. I don't know if it's the smartest idea for me to give her a second chance, but again, this was the first time this happened. If anything, I want to tell her how I really feel and stand up for myself. I'm not sure if I'll regret this. Well, Redditor, you didn't ask for any advice. You just kind of put yourself out there. You didn't say anything about what it is that you did or didn't want, did or did not want. And so here I am, a random stranger, creating a podcast around your question. I want to thank you, though, for putting it out there, because it's nice to just get it out. So on this episode, we're talking about these fundamentals of relationships and the 3 things that I believe to create a close relationship. The one thing is you have to know what it is that you want from each other, have to be willing to clearly express it, and then you have to be willing to talk about the next steps if you don't get what you want from each other. And I looked at this post and I thought this is a perfect example of when to apply these spaces or these fundamentals to your relationship. When I look at this here, I think about how you aren't quite clear about what it is that you want from each other. And I say this because you didn't put it in there, so I don't know. But how do you want them to behave? This is the question. What is it that you want them to do instead? So I'd love for you to imagine that if you were able to listen to this episode before you actually had a conversation with them. But I would recommend that you figure out what you want them to do, how you want them to respond to you, because you're talking about sharing your authentic feelings with them, which is great, something I always applaud in any situation. Talk about how you really feel, and I like the fact that you don't want to push that down either. You're like, yeah, I know it's important to share how I feel. I'll regret it otherwise. I don't know how they're going to respond though. So I would be curious to know what it is that you want them, what you want from them. How do you want them to respond? Ideally, you probably want them to say, oh, yeah, my bad. I apologize, and say, look, I realize that you're having a tough time, and it was very insensitive of me to criticize you for something that was happening in your life that you can't control, right? I imagine that's what you want, but do you know that? So before you go into the situation, what is it that you want to say, and what do you want to be received? How do you want, and then when it's received, what does it look like to you to know that it's been received, the information's been received, like your point of view? So it might look like an apology if they hear you, and an apology might sound like, yeah, I understand, I stepped over the line, I went too far, that was hurtful, rather than an apology looking like, oh, sorry that you feel that way. That's not quite an apology. That might not be what you're looking for. So the clearer you can get, the better it will be in your relationship. So you have to know what you want from each other. You know what you want from them. Go in that situation thinking about that. And then you have to be able to clearly express what you want. I see that you're a little afraid to, but you do want to. I'd recommend, because you know that regret is a thing that is on the opposite side of being comfortable or uncomfortable. So if you're not sharing what's important and interesting to you about what happened the last time you talked, or what's on your heart, then you are going to be in a space where you might regret that. And you know that. You wrote that in a post. So be willing to express that. Hey, I want an apology. Now that's sharp. That's very clear. But it is what you want, right? So if they apologize to you and say, sorry, I guess that's how you feel, or it's not my responsibility, is that going to cut it? Be willing to express exactly what it is that you're looking for if you don't get it. Oh, but that's the next piece. Be willing to talk about next steps if they're not capable. So what if they just aren't capable, even if you tell them clearly what it is that you want? Like, hey, friend, I need you to apologize to me because that was foul. That hurt my feelings. And they just say, you know what? It's not my problem. Then what? What do? Well, I can't be friends with you. Or I'm going to need some time away from you. Whatever it is, what are going to be your next steps? So being intentional about going into that space and knowing what those three things are, because this is a difficult conversation to have, it's going to help you be more grounded in who you are and get what you want, so that resentment is not building up. You're not angry with them. They're not angry with you. Or it doesn't matter if they're angry with you. You're not sharing space with each other anymore. But it's more about you feeling the way you want to feel in the relationship. And if it doesn't feel good to you, then it's an opportunity to seek another relationship that will feel good to you, that will hit those check marks for you. Because otherwise, if you ignore any of those, you are going to be in a world of regret, and that doesn't feel good. So, Redditor, thank you so much for asking your question. I know that you didn't ask me to answer it, but I did, and I hope that it helps. Best of luck to you. Take care. My name is Coach Lee Hopkins, and you have been listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. You can find me at patternsofpossibility.com and on all social media at Patterns of Possibility. And as always, I want to encourage you to be yourself, live your truth, and there you'll make lasting friendships.